Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic, and that is how to deal with rejection and resubmission. This is not a fun topic for many people, especially those who have been rejected, and everyone has been rejected. If you have never been rejected for when you try to publish your paper, you're not submitting enough. You're not trying hard enough. Rejection is a reality of our academic life, so we need to get used to it, and we need to have a plan about how we're going to deal with it. Just to show you how common it is to be rejected, here's a very interesting statistic. This is a study done in the US, and the authors looked at a lot of papers. I think it was 40,000 papers that were submitted to academic journals, and then they looked at how many of those papers were accepted by both reviewers. Here's the result of their study. The chance that a typical paper of average quality will get a favorable recommendation from both referees is about 11%. Now 11% is not very high, it's pretty low. So it's likely that if you are submitting papers regularly, you are also receiving some rejection letters as well. Now, the good news is that rejection is not the end of your paper. In fact, 8 Nobel Prize winners have said that their most fundamental research was rejected at least one time before it was accepted. Now that's good news. If Nobel Prize winners get rejection letters, you and I certainly will. This is just the reality. My favorite example is George Akerlof, who won the Nobel Prize in economics. Now, George Akerlof was teaching for a college in the United States, and he was put under a lot of pressure to publish. And he tried. He submitted to a very good economics journal in his domain, and it was rejected. And then he sent it to another journal, was rejected again, a third journal, also rejected. And then he took a trip to India to think about life and get over this rejection. When he returned to the US, he submitted to one more journal that accepted his paper. That paper is titled Lemons and the Market for Used Car Sales, and that paper helped him to win the Nobel Prize. So my point is that just because your paper is rejected doesn't mean the ideas are bad either. Good papers are rejected for a variety of reasons, and I'll be talking about those in my upcoming slides. But you need to keep trying. After you're rejected, you need to submit again to a new journal. If that paper is sitting on your computer, it can bring you no good news. You need to submit again to another journal just as quickly as you can. Now, here's a couple interesting studies on rejected papers. One study by Wilcox showed that 62% of papers that are published have been rejected at least one time. So when you read a journal paper, that paper was probably rejected before. Another study showed that at least 50% of manuscripts that have been rejected are published within 2 years. So what's the typical life cycle of a paper? Rejection, and then publishing in the next journal or in the journal after that. So don't give up on your rejected paper. Get it back out there, and it has a high chance of being accepted. Now, to increase our chances of publication, I think we should not waste time on dead and dying topics. What is a dead topic? A dead topic means you can find no references in the literature for 10 years using your keywords or about this topic. This is a very difficult paper to publish because editors are hesitant to accept papers that nobody appears to be interested in. Even if the research is good, it's hard for him to find a reviewer because nobody's actively researching your topic. And it's also difficult for him to find readers who are interested, and so that might influence his impact factor. So these dead topics, 10 years, or dying topics, 5 years of no references, are hard to persuade our journal to accept. So always try to find new references from recent years to show your editor that your topic is still alive, still popular, still interesting to the journal readership. How can you identify the hot topics? Well, read your literature, especially the top-tier journals in your domain. Those top-tier journals are very sensitive about hot topics. So if you see it in the top journal of your domain, it's probably hot. It's probably very interesting to other editors in your domain. Second, read letters to the editor. Now, in your journal, there are two types of letters. There are journals from the editor to the authors, and there are journals to the editor, letters to the editor. Now, a letter to the editor is usually questions about arising hot topics or upcoming discussions in your domain. And the editor will publish those letters to himself that he thinks represents new trends or new research ideas. So read those letters to the editor carefully. You might see a future hot topic. Look for controversies and unexplained findings. Whenever people in your domain are fighting or arguing about a topic, it's probably hot. They care about it. They're interested in it. So that's why there's so much discussion. Look for crossovers. Crossover is the interdisciplinary research, the between domains, between psychology, biology, economics, history. These crossover interdisciplinary topics are becoming more and more popular. In fact, it may be the fastest growing area of the SCI journal list, are those interdisciplinary journals. So if you can work with someone from another domain together on a paper, that might be very hot. Do keyword database searches. Search for your keyword in an academic search engine and see how many and how recently other authors are using your keywords in their papers. If you see many people using your keywords, that's a good sign. If you see very few, especially recent papers, that might be a warning sign that people are not so interested. Finally, go to conferences, attend sessions, listen to what other people are talking about and discussing. That might help you to see what other people in your domain are interested in. Also, you can attend editor sessions, and the editor will often mention the type of topic that he's interested in for his journal. That might also be a good clue for you as an author when you are choosing a topic. Well, for more information, I want to direct you to my website, editing.tw. We revise research papers for Taiwanese scholars. We also have a blog, editing.tw/blog, where I have other videos and articles that will be very interesting for you to read if you're trying to publish your research. I've written several books that you can buy at my website, textbooks.tw. I've also republished books by great authors from North America, from England, who deal specifically with how we can better publish research papers. So to see more detail on those books that we have published and written, please visit our site, textbooks.tw. Thank you for joining us.